Episode 3 of Dexter Resurrection is called Backseat Driver. It begins by showing us that Dexter is bad at rideshare service. He doesn't have a charger, he doesn't have any water, doesn't have any nachos, doesn't have any condoms, doesn't have anything that people need, apparently. Someone gives him like a bad rating, but it's really not that bad, which I'm sure is a commentary on rating in general, like, because you're either great or you're terrible. Everything's just pass-fail now. Then shows us that Dexter's trying to get his hands on some more horse tranquilizer, which was the main thing he used in the original show to knock people out so that he can take them back to the kill room. Here he uses the alias Patrick Bateman, which is obviously from American Psycho. I think this is in here to canonize the prequel show that came out a while ago, which I did watch. It's okay. You don't have to watch it. It's fries after the main course. It's there if you want it, but it's not necessary. And it's fine. You know, I thought it was okay. But in the prequel series, he does use the Patrick Bateman alias a couple times. And so I think they threw that in here to canonize that a little bit. It's so obvious, though, you know, like American Psycho. Come on, everybody knows that. Then we cut to Harrison getting grilled by the cops. They ultimately land on him as the main suspect, which is fitting because he is the one that killed him. We cut back to Dexter having dinner with his neighbors, and we find out that they did a background check on him so they know that he has a 10-year gap. He explains to them that he was going through a loss and he just needed some time away. That's a pretty good conversation stopper, being like, oh, I went through a loss and I just needed some time to reflect. Like, most people aren't going to grill you after that unless they really know you, you know? He asks for a copy of the background check so that he can run a background check on the dark passenger your car driver killer. So the serial killer's name is Ronald Schmidt. He finds his name and he finds his address and he breaks into his place to snoop around. He's looking for the trophies we saw in episode 1. And of course, the first place he looks is the air conditioning because that's where he used to hide his trophies in the OG series. I don't even know why he's looking for the trophies. I guess he's trying to just confirm that that's him, but doesn't he already know that that's him? I don't know. Anyway, he calls his work to see where he's going to be tomorrow so that he can be there to trap him. Then we cut to Batista. I assume he's just chilling in his house drinking whiskey, and he gets a call from the sheriff from New Blood, and that guy tells him that the car they were looking for, the car that Dexter stole with all the stickers on it, that has been ID'd somewhere in New York. So he knows Dexter's in New York, which is really interesting to see Batista actually be on to Dexter, which is crazy. I don't think we've ever seen this quite, like this cat and mouse with these two people that have been friends for so long. Then we cut back to Dexter, and his Urcar friend is teaching him how to be a good Urcar driver by keeping a bunch of stuff in your car to anticipate the needs of the riders, which makes sense if you want a good rating. You know, you want to make sure your car smells nice. You want to make sure you can anticipate the needs of everybody that comes in. He sees his friend applying some kind of metal to the exhaust, so he says it's supposed to keep out rats, and this gives Dexter an idea for later. Then we cut back to the cops trying to figure out the case, a bunch of stuff we already know. They then determine that the kill happened in the kitchen, which I sort of figured they would determine anyway. Oh, and there's a short scene where Dexter is getting acupuncture therapy from one of his neighbors, and she tells him that there's a secret compartment in the old apartment because she used to live there. And I think it's like an old chimney that doesn't work anymore, but that's probably where he's going to hide something, so a little setup for later. It's an old coal chute. Whatever the fuck that means. So Dexter's obviously going to hide something there. Probably his trophies. Does he collect trophies anymore? I don't remember if he collected trophies in New Blood. Somebody correct me. And then more him spying on Harrison, being a super creep. Harrison is either on a date or just hanging out with his friend, the pick-me girl from the first episode. I don't think they're dating. I think they're like, I don't think they've had the like define the relationship talk yet. But I think they're just like hanging out. Oh, they're just sharing fries and soda. Was that their dinner? Just fries and soda. They're talking about the cops grilling them. Harrison's like freaking out. He just wants to leave. And she says, hey, let's go back to my place and watch Drag Race. And he goes, all right. So they go back to her place and commit the most egregious sin of them all, talking during the race. I mean, come on, guys. Wait till the commercial at least. I don't know how her son's going to play in. Like, I don't know why that's even a factor, but whatever, we'll see. Then we cut to the only Uma Thurman scene in this episode where she is preparing for a dinner party for 6 serial killers, and one of them is vegetarian. They keep teasing us with this dinner party. I'm really curious to see it. I think we're finally going to get it next episode, though. VIP number 5 is a vegan, which I assume is Ronald Schmidt, but I don't know. We'll see. That would be kind of funny because then Dexter will get there and he's like, oh shit, now I gotta eat vegan food, which I don't think Dexter's a vegan. Dexter's always eating, man. He's always stuffing his face with something. All right, then we cut to a weird scene where the cops do this weird Law and Order bullshit. They basically treat it like The Box, you know, like they grill Harrison to try and coax a confession out of him by saying, you murdered this person, you murdered the guy, you cleaned up the mess, and like they basically lay out everything, which is absolutely true. The thing is, they don't have any evidence, and like he knows that, and we know that, and so we're just sitting there like, dude, Harrison, just get your lawyer and be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, because they got nothing. They have the truth. That's for sure. They definitely know he did it, and they know how he did it. They just got no evidence whatsoever. The thing that this is all hinging on is that he never left the hotel. Last time we spoke, you mentioned your alibi, which he makes up this alibi about having one night stand with some random chick who does not exist. They catch him in that lie and they say, you didn't leave because you killed him. And so after they go on this long tangent about how he killed this guy, which is absolutely true, he says, I'm going to confess to you, you didn't see me leave the building on any of the cameras because I live here. I'm homeless. Like, I live here in the hotel. And they corroborate that story. And I think that kind of, I don't know if that gets him off the hook necessarily, but that at least gives him an alibi. They got nothing on him. They got absolutely nothing on him, other than he was like one of the last people to see the victim before they died. It's still really weird that he's going by Patrick Bateman. Like, that's just so obvious, man. Like, pick a different name. At least go with Paul Allen. Then we're treated to a great scene, which I know is fan service, but I really liked it. It's a scene with Batista having a drink with some old faces. It's Masuka and Quinn. It's nice to see them again. It really is. We are also treated to a Masuka laugh. The reason I like this scene, again, I know it's fan service, but the reason I like this scene is because it reminds us that these people still exist somewhere. They're still going to work every day. They're still living their lives in Miami. They didn't make it like too cheesy, you know, they just made it, hey, this is just a drink between friends to remind us that these people still exist. And it wasn't like a let's deep dive into them and let's have the music play up and do a close up on their faces when they enter and have a grand entrance and some stupid bullshit like that. They absolutely could have done that. And I'm glad they didn't, because that would have been stupid. But instead, they just made it subtle. And they're just like, nope, these people still exist. Here they are. And Batista's retiring. That's why they're having the drink. He kind of alludes to something he's cooking up, which we know it's because he's going after Dexter. And I completely agree with his decision not to tell them, because that would just open up a whole... I mean, could you imagine? Like, that would just open up a whole fucking can of worms. So the fact that he doesn't tell them, I think, is a good plan. Because he's like, hey, when it goes down, you'll know and you'll understand. Very Hank Schrader vibes from Breaking Bad. It makes sense. I like this scene. I really like the way they're going about this whole story. I really enjoy this show so far. Then we cut to Dexter, who's about to catch the killer. This part I thought was really clever. We see that he wears a turtleneck. He uses the sheet metal from earlier to put under his turtleneck to shield him from the killer's stranglehold. And it works really well. He tranquilizes Ronald and takes him to his apartment and puts him on his killing table. And this is the first time we finally get to see Dexter do a kill. We actually didn't see him do a lot of kills in New Blood. I only remember like a couple. He didn't really do that many. So this is a big moment for Dexter because we don't know how long it's been. We don't know how long it's been since his last kill. But you know how he likes to talk to his victims right before he kills them. He talks to Ronald and Ronald tells him that the reason he's killing all these rideshare people is for revenge for his father. Apparently they like drove him out of business because he was like a taxi driver or something. And he like killed himself by hurling himself off a bridge or something like that. Some sob story. But I'm like, dude, that doesn't... First of all, none of the people you killed had anything to do with that. Secondly, you're killing people pretty maliciously. You're like cutting their heads off and stuff. It seems like it's a deeper reason than that, but I ain't no psychoanalyst, so what do I know? Dexter also gets to find out about the invitations, which we, the audience, already know, but he had no idea about. So we find out it's a dinner party for like-minded individuals, which I'm sure is like a serial killer dinner party. This kind of reminds me of a scene in The Sandman, not the show, but the books. I don't know if it made it to the show because I didn't get past season 1. There's a moment in one of the Sandman books, I think it's the 3rd volume, actually I have it. I know Neil Gaiman turned out to be a monster, so don't judge me for this, but I do have a Sandman book, and I think it's this one. There is a serial killer convention in one of these. Actually, I think it's book 2. I think this is the wrong one. There's a serial killer convention in the Sandman books, and it kind of made me think of that, like how the ridiculous concept that serial killers would have like a network, you know, and actually be organized. Or I guess it's not so silly. I could kind of see it. I could see it with like maybe 2 people, but more than 2, it's like y'all just... That's just one that's too risky, and 2, like how would you even find each other? That's crazy. I'm intrigued. I'm really interested to see how this dinner party goes. Anyway, he takes the invitation, and it kind of seems like he's gonna go. But first, he's got to get rid of the body. He finds a bad neighborhood, and he finds a warehouse with a furnace, I believe, and he gets rid of the body there. But he reads the invitation, and it says you need a thumbprint to confirm your identity to enter the party. So he cuts off the guy's thumb. And then the episode ends. I'm really interested to see the next episode. I'm quite interested in this serial killer dinner party. That's going to be pretty colorful. And I'm very curious about the other serial killers and how they're all different from each other. Are they going to know he's the Bay Harbor Butcher? Is he going to tell them, or is he going to I don't know, is he going to kill all the other serial killers since he is a serial killer who kills serial killers? That's my that would be my theory. I think my theory is that he'll eventually choose to kill all of the people he meets at this dinner party. That would be my theory. Yeah, next episode should be really interesting. I'm also really interested to see what Dinklage's deal is. How do you organize something like this? The fact that they would go isn't completely out of left field for me, because like people who kill serial killers do get cocky, especially if they get away with it so many times. There is a sense of pride to them. I'm just going off of what I see in the media. If you ever saw Mindhunter, they talk about how serial killers love to talk to the cops, you know, and they love to pride themselves in like the fact that they got away with it. I could see someone being narcissistic enough to think that that's a good idea, to be like, oh, I'm untouchable, right? Because if you're getting away with so much killing, it kind of makes sense for you to think, to have some kind of misplaced pride. Another prediction I have is that I think Harrison is going to be completely absolved if the cops find, oh no, he burned it, fuck. You know what that's what he should have done, because he cuts people into 9 pieces, right? He should have let someone find the body instead of burning it, because then that would absolve Harrison of the other kill, because they could just like look back at security cameras and be like, oh, he was here the whole time, because they're at the hotel now, right? I don't know, that's what I would have done. Good episode. I'm really interested in the next one, though. I really want to meet the other serial killers, and I really want to see what Dinklage is up to. What are your guys' theories on what's going to happen? Are you enjoying this show so far? Because I am.